No Disintegrations expands upon the Edge of the Empire role-playing game by adding new stuff for bounty hunters or for any characters that are wanting to pursue bounties. Track your quarry through any environment. Conduct detailed investigations into the galactic underworld. And devastate your foes with peerless precision. This is a review of No Disintegrations, a sourcebook for bounty hunters. Let's dive in. Here we have the No Disintegrations sourcebook for bounty hunters for the Edge of the Empire role-playing game line. And like with most books in the Star Wars role-playing game line, the introduction is filled with a lot of fluff. But something of note are the common bounty types, such as the government bounties and the criminal bounties. We've also got a code of conduct for bounty hunters, as well as how to feature competition and cooperation. The Hunters for Hire is the new player options chapter for this source book. And as an extension to the introduction, we do have some new backgrounds for each of the specializations, including the new ones. Again, these are just to get some inspiration and is pure fluff. The first new option for players are the new obligations. Some of the categories are repeats, but with new dialogue added to them. So we have things like the Thrill Seeker, the Vigilante, Blackmail, Contract, Rule Breaker, Debt, Betrayal, Family, Favor, Criminal, Keeper of the Faith, and Fame. You can, of course, create your own obligation with the GM's permission. We have 3 new species, the Claudite, Deveronian, and Calerans. Claudites start with a 3 in Cunning and a 1 in Willpower, and a 2 to everything else. Their wound and strength thresholds start at 9 plus the relevant characteristic, and they start with 95 XP. They begin the game with 1 rank in resilience, but their main ability is the changeling ability. As an action, a Claudite may suffer 3 strain and make an average resilience check. If the Claudite succeeds, she changes her appearance to match that of a Silhouette 1 character whom she has observed before. An observing character must make an opposed perception versus deception check to detect that something is amiss with the impersonated character's likeness, mannerisms, or behavior. As always, the GM can add setback dice or boost dice for situational effects that might affect the check, such as a boost die if the Claudite's garb does not match expectations, or setback dice if the Claudite has studied the impersonated individual's mannerisms closely. Deveronians start with a 3 in Cunning and a 1 in Presence, and a 2 in everything else. They have a wound threshold at 11 plus Brawn and strength threshold at 10 plus Willpower and only 95 starting XP. They begin the game with 1 rank in Survival or Deception, and they have resilient metabolism. Deveronian physiology is naturally hardy and resistant to toxins. Members of the species add automatic success to all resilience checks they make. Calerans start with a 3 in Brawn, a 1 in Presence, and a 2 in everything else. Their wound threshold is low, starting at 8 plus Brawn, and a strain threshold starting at 12 plus Willpower. They start with only 90 XP. They begin the game with 1 rank in Streetwise, and they have Hypersensitive Antenna, which allows them to begin the game with a heightened awareness talent, meaning allies within a short range of the character add a boost dice to their perception checks and vigilance checks. Allies engaged with them add 2 boost dice instead. No Disintegrations adds 3 specializations for the bounty hunter career, bringing the total up to 6. First, we have the Martial Artist. The Martial Artist bonus career skills are Athletics, Brawl, Coordination, and Discipline. For the first tier talents, we have Iron Body, which can remove a setback die per rank of Iron Body from Coordination and Resilience checks, reduce the critical rating of unarmed attacks by 1 per rank of Iron Body to a minimum of 1. We've got Parry, which, if you don't know, when you're hit by a melee attack, you suffer 3 strain to reduce damage by 2 plus ranks in Parry. Grit, which is plus 1 strain threshold. And Precision Strike. When this character inflicts a critical injury with a brawl, melee, or lightsaber weapon, they may suffer 1 strain to change the result to any easy critical injury. In the second tier, we have another Parry, a Toughened, which adds plus 2 wound threshold, another Grit, and Martial Grace. So once per round, suffer 2 strain to add a damage equal to ranks in coordination to 1 hit of a successful brawl check. For the third tier, we have Unarmed Parry. So you can parry while unarmed. We have grapple, so once per round, may perform the grapple maneuver until the beginning of the character's next turn. Foes must spend 2 maneuvers to move from engaged to short instead of 1. We have another rank of Iron Body, and we have improved precision strike. So once per round, when inflicting a critical injury with a brawl or melee weapon, may suffer 2 strain to change the result to any average critical injury. For the 4th tier, we have Overbalance. When a combat check made by an engaged foe generates despair or 3 threat, may stagger attacker until the end of his next turn. We've got another Toughened and another Grit, and we have Mind over Matter. The character may spend 1 destiny point to recover strain equal to willpower rating. And for the final tier, we have Coordination Dodge. When targeted by a combat check, may spend 1 destiny point to add failure equal to ranks in coordination to check. We have Dedication, which if you don't know, it's a straight up +1 to a single characteristic, although you can't bring a characteristic above 6. We have Natural Brawler, so once per session, may reroll any 1 brawl or melee check. And then we have Supreme Precision Strike, so once per session, when inflicting a critical injury with an unarmed attack, may suffer 3 strain to change the result to any hard critical injury. Next we have the Operator. The Operator's bonus career skills are Astrogation, Gunnery, Piloting Planetary, and Piloting Space. For the first tier talents, we have Grit, Galaxy Mapper, which removes 1 setback die per rank of Galaxy Mapper from astrogation checks. Also, astrogation checks take half normal time. Then there's Shortcut, so during a chase, add boost per rank in Shortcut to any check made to catch or escape an opponent. And then we have Overwhelmed Defenses. Upon unsuccessfully attack with a starship or vehicle weapon, may spend 2 advantages per rank of Overwhelmed Defenses. Reduce the defense in the targeted zone by 1 for every 2 advantages spent. For the second tier, we also have another Grit. We've got Planet Mapper, which removes a setback die per rank of Planet Mapper from Streetwise or Survival checks used for navigation on a world. Such checks also take half normal time. We also have Debilitating Shot, so upon successful attack with a starship or vehicle weapon, may spend 2 advantages to reduce the maximum speed of the target by 1 until the end of the next round, and then Full Throttle. So you can take a full throttle action, make a hard piloting check to increase a vehicle's top speed by 1 for a number of rounds equal to Cunning. For the third tier, we have another Grit. We've got Offensive Driving. As a maneuver, suffer system strain up to vehicle's highest defense to upgrade the difficulty of target's next piloting check that many times. We've got All-Terrain Driver, so you do not suffer usual penalties for driving through difficult terrain when using Piloting Planetary. And we've got Skilled Jockey. Remove a setback die per rank of Skilled Jockey from Piloting Planetary and Piloting Space checks. In the fourth tier, we have another Overwhelmed Defenses, another rank of Grit, and another rank of Shortcut. We've also got Let's Ride. Once per round, may mount or dismount a vehicle or beast, or enter a cockpit or weapon station on a vehicle as an incidental. For the last tier, we have Dedication, Improved Shortcut, so when engaging in a chase or race, may suffer 2 strain to add additional successes equal to ranks in Shortcut to the check. We've got another rank of Skilled Jockey, and then we've got Hindering Shot. Increase the difficulty of next gunnery check by 1. If check deals damage, target starship or vehicle suffers system strain equal to speed when it moves until the end of the encounter. Last but not least, we have the Skip Tracer. The Skip Tracer's bonus career skills are Cool, Knowledge Underworld, Negotiation, and Skullduggery. For the first tier talents, we have Bypass Security. Remove a setback die per rank of Bypass Security from checks made to disable a security device or open a locked door. There's Hard-Boiled. When recovering strain after an encounter, may spend advantages up to ranks in Hard-Boiled to recover 1 wound per advantage spent. We have Good Cop, so you can spend 2 advantages from a charm or negotiation check to upgrade ability of a single ally subsequent social interaction check against a target a number of times equal to ranks in Good Cop. And then there's Rapid Recovery. When recovering strain after an encounter, recover 1 additional strain per rank of Rapid Recovery. For the second tier, we have Toughened, Expert Tracker, which removes a setback die per rank of Expert Tracker from checks to find tracks or track targets, decrease time to track a target by half. We have Street Smarts, which removes a setback die per rank of Street Smarts from Streetwise or Knowledge Underworld checks. And we have bot info. Instead of making a knowledge check, may take a bot info action, spend credits equal to 50 times the difficulty of the check to pass with 1 success. For the third tier, we have another rank in hard-boiled, rapid recovery, and street smarts, but this time we add improved street smarts. So once per session, may take an improved street smarts action, make a formidable streetwise or knowledge underworld check to learn one vital clue from the GM, reduce the difficulty once per rank of street smarts. For the fourth tier, we have another rank in bypass security and good cop. This time we add nobody's fool, so upgrade the difficulty of incoming charm, coercion, and deception checks once per rank of nobody's fool, and informant, once per session, may reveal a contact who can shed light on a chosen subject. For the final tier, we of course have dedication. We've also got another rank of hard-boiled, and we're adding soft spot. So after making a successful attack, may spend 1 destiny point to add damage equal to cunning to 1 hit, and reconstruct the scene. Perform the reconstruct the scene action, make a hard perception check to identify the physical characteristics of person present at the scene within 24 hours. Out of all of the new specializations, this one is actually my favorite because it adds a little bit of flavor to being a bounty hunter. We have a new motivation category, which is code. This can include things like rule of law, the only score that matters, survival, always get paid, never again, quiet professionalism, reputation is everything, live capture, no collateral damage, and finish the job. So a little bit of flavor for bounty hunter characters who are just starting out. Then we have these signature abilities. Signature abilities are powerful, usually once per session abilities. These are attached to the bottom of a specialization that matches the career for that ability. There are also upgrades that you can purchase. First up, we have Always Get My Mark. Once per game session, the character may choose a minion NPC to be her mark. She must know this NPC's identity and basic personal information, or have another lead of comparable quality, per the GM's discretion, and must know that the NPC is on the same planet. She spends 2 destiny points and makes a hard streetwise check. If she succeeds, the character tracks down the chosen mark, and a new encounter begins as the character reaches the mark's location. The exact nature of this encounter, as well as the circumstances under which it takes place, must be approved by the GM. When making the skill check to activate Always Get My Mark, the GM can add setback or boost dice for any situational effects that might affect the difficulty of the check. For upgrades, we have Change Skill, so when activating Always Get My Mark, the character may make a Knowledge Underworld check instead of Streetwise. There's also another Change Skill that changes it to Survival instead of Streetwise. There's the Destiny Upgrade, so you only spend 1 Destiny point instead of 2. You can increase its effect, you can increase its range, and you can also reduce the difficulty. There is a Takedown Upgrade, so when activating Always Get My Mark, the Bounty Hunter may upgrade the difficulty of the check once. If she succeeds, the scene begins with the target already subdued and in her custody. The GM may spend despair from this check to introduce serious complications during the attempted capture and ensuing scene. So kind of a bit of a cop-out for this ability. And then we have Unmatched Devastation. Once per game session, after performing a combat check, the character may spend 2 destiny points to perform 1 additional combat check against the same target as an incidental. The difficulty of this combat check is increased by 1 for each successful combat check the character has performed this turn. This combat check must be made using a non-starship/vehicle weapon that the character has not already used this turn. We do have some upgrades like Draw and Fire, so before performing each combat check with Unmatched Devastation, the character may holster a weapon and draw a different weapon as an incidental. We have Improved Mobility. So before performing each combat check with Unmatched Devastation, the character may suffer 2 strain to perform the move maneuver as an incidental. This does not count towards the number of maneuvers a character can perform in 1 turn. We have Increased Number, so the character may perform 1 additional combat check using a non-starship/vehicle weapon not already used this round for each increased number upgrade purchased. The difficulty of this combat check is increased by 1 for each successful combat check the character has performed this turn. We have the Remove Setback upgrade, so whenever you use this ability, it removes a setback dice. And then we have Target Priority. The character may choose a new legal target for each combat check made as part of Unmatched Devastation. Quite powerful indeed. The Guns Blazing chapter is the New Gear chapter. We have new equipment that is specifically tailored for bounty hunters, though if you look close enough, you'll see the influences of a certain famous Mandalorian hunter. Not the new one, the older one. For new ranged weapons, we have the Precision X Marksman Rifle, the Subduer 9 Riot Blaster, the Firecaller Light Flame Projector, the Grapnel Harpoon Launcher, and the Nova Design Impact Repulsor Cannon. We have some micro rockets this time around, like the anti-armor micro rockets, explosive, flechette, incendiary, and ion micro rockets, and then we have the micro rocket launcher pistol. I should point out that there is a way to get a custom attachment, the micro rocket and armor mount, which could be very beneficial if you'd rather keep your hands free. For melee weapons, we've only got two. We've got the Circa Peacekeeper Stun Baton and the Ion Pike. And for new armor, we have the Armored Drop Suit, the Hunter's Trophy Armor when it's completed, the Hunter's Trophy Armor custom made, and then the Mandalorian Armor. For new gear, we have the Bioscan, the HoloNet Homing Beacon, Rocket Boots, and Tracker's Goggles. We've also got some illegal equipment like the ComScan, the Holographic Disguise Matrix, and the Saline Pump. And then we've also got drugs and poisons like the Sleep Pack and the Sulfur Inhaler. For new vehicles, we have things like the XL-3C Guardsman Patrol Airspeeder, the Model 90 Ranger, the Aggressor Assault Fighter, the Mandalorian Protectorate Starfighter, the G-1A Heavy Starfighter, the Kirax Light Starfighter, the Lancer Class Pursuit Craft, the YV-666 Light Fighter, and the Sea-Rock Gozanti Class Light Cruiser, which is a pretty good one if you have a full party that needs some extra space for all their things, let's just say. To go alongside the starfighters, we actually have space mines. We have the Concussion Mine, Connor Net, Firecracker Mine, Gravity Mine, Ion Mine, and Seeker Mine. So basically, after being deployed, a space mine enters a passive mode at close range of the ship that deployed it. The next time another vessel moves within close range, the mine attempts to detonate on the ship. The character piloting that ship must make a hard piloting space check to avoid being struck by the mine. If he fails the check, the ship suffers damage equal to the base damage of the mine plus 1 damage per failure on the check. The character who set the mine may spend threat from this check as if it were advantages on a combat check to activate the mine's critical rating and weapon qualities. This chapter serves as the GM Toolkit section. A lot of it is fluff for integrating bounty hunters into campaigns and, more importantly, running investigations. The information on running investigations is actually useful for GMs who want to run this type of a game. There's tables for information difficulty and how obscure a piece of information is, and how to spend advantages, threats, triumphs, and despairs. There's even tips on creating clues and how to structure investigative campaigns. We do have some example investigations and sample campaigns, but these are very bare bones, so you're still going to have to put in the work to tailor it to your party. At the very end of the book, we have Bounty Hunter Rewards, with tips on generating ways to collect bounties, and even a way to generate bounties with modifiers. Although, to be honest, I just use ChatGPT for this kind of stuff to generate the list of bounties and their difficulties. The exploits are certainly worth looking into, especially if you plan on playing the game solo. Every time a bounty hunter character brings in a major or legendary target from the previous table, they earn an exploit. So we have things like Dodge, which can add 10% of base bounty value for minor and moderate targets. And then we have things like Honorable. The bounty hunter adds a boost die to her coercion, deception, and negotiation checks against any rival or nemesis NPC if the two are alone. And then at the very end of the book, we have the ad for Imperial Assault. Anybody remember that game? I sure do. I kind of miss it. No Disintegrations has never really been top tier for me, but that doesn't mean there isn't any value in this book. If you are playing as a bounty hunter character, then you might want to pick this book up for the special abilities and the specializations. Although, quite honestly, the new specializations just don't really speak bounty hunter to me, and are probably the weakest aspect of this book. For GMs, if you are running a bounty hunter focused game, then having this book and being able to generate your own bounties and bounty hunter characters on the fly would also be pretty good. Although I don't really use this book for that purpose, I use ChatGPT. Or you could just simply use your own, your imagination. And only bounty hunter characters are really going to benefit from the exploit system here. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Give this video a huge thumbs up to support this series, and I will see you guys in the next video.